If you had to choose a mascot for the television series Heroes, barring Hiro Nakamura or Claire Bennett, it would probably be Sylar, the serial killer who hunts down superhumans and absorbs their powers after killing them. For someone who you only saw in the shadows for the first half of Season 1, Sylar was pretty close to being the big villain for the first season. Even after he was defeated in the Season 1 finale, he managed to stick around for the remainder of the series, for better or worse. Okay, it was worse. I get the feeling during Season 1, somebody in the writer's room screamed, "People love this creepy serial killer guy. Ratings are up 10,000%. No matter what you do, keep him in the show," even though the series outgrew the need for Sylar by the end of the season. Heroes followed the Buffy the Vampire Slayer model of having a different big villain for each season. Volume 1 was Heroes, Volume 2 was Adam Monroe, Volume 3 was Arthur Petrelli, you get the idea. But because people apparently loved Sylar so much, the show tried to find stuff to do with him, even though his purpose as the big villain that everyone unites against was being filled by other characters. Since he's not the ultimate villain anymore, he devolves into more of a nuisance than an actual threat. Season 2 has Sylar lose his powers off screen, so he's trying to get them back. Season 3, he's got his powers back, but now the show wants you to forget that he's a creepy serial killer. You know, the reason I assume people fell in love with him in the first place. And it tries not once, but multiple times to turn him into a good guy. Again, following the Buffy the Vampire Slayer model. Except in Buffy, it was established pretty early on that even though Spike was a murderous vampire, he felt love that other vampires didn't have. So it made sense when the series slowly eased him into being one of the good guys. It probably helped that they spent about 3 years doing that and didn't try to cram that journey into one season, which is what Season 3 of Heroes tried to do with Sylar. Oh, people aren't responding well to us trying to force this nasty piece of work into being a good guy? Let's regress his character and then try again later. But with Spike, since he didn't have a soul, his villainy made a certain amount of sense, even when they were thinking of ways to neutralize him and keep him around as a supporting character. But with Sylar, he had a soul when he was murdering his way across the USA. They don't give a good reason why this guy who should know better but does evil anyway would suddenly stop doing evil and try at least 3 times to be one of the good guys. It doesn't help that they introduce the hunger and try to say it's not Sylar's fault he kills people, like an evolutionary imperative. Yeah, I don't buy it. In Season 1, Peter Petrelli was close enough to absorb Sylar's intuitive aptitude, since that's how Peter's powers work. He gets close to someone and absorbs their power. And we don't see any indication Peter suffers from the hunger. This was just a pathetic attempt to excuse Sylar from his past crimes in Season 3. So how would I have handled Sylar becoming a good guy and make it not stupid? Season 1 finale, he gets wounded by Hiro Nakamura. We end the season with no clue where he is or if he will be back. Instead of Micah Sanders' babysitter rescuing Sylar for some reason, Sylar has been imprisoned by the company. Angelo Petrelli and Noah Bennett were both in New York when Sylar was wounded, so one of them arranged for him to be taken into custody. This would mean introducing the prison and some of the inmates a full season earlier than what we saw in the series. If you still want to have the company experimenting with a virus as a means of neutralizing the powers of the superhumans they fear, maybe they intend to test it on Sylar. While Sylar is in prison, we're introduced to one of the other cellmates. Let's call him Gordon. Unlike the other Sons of Guns locked in here, Gordon wants to be in here. He thinks he's dangerous, and this is the best place for him to be to keep everyone else safe. What's his power? Basically Jesse Custer's power of controlling another person's actions with your words. But it's a situation where his mind merges with the person when he's forcing them to do something. Like possession, a more advanced version of what this lady who befriended Mohinder in Season 1 could do. Maybe Gordon accidentally used his power and something horrible happened to his wife and kid, so he thinks he needs to do penance in prison. Somehow, Sylar escapes, and Gordon feels it's his duty to stop Sylar. When he's trying to stop Sylar from getting away, security guards will see 2 escaped prisoners and open fire. Gordon manages to sneak inside Sylar as his physical body is shot and killed. Sylar manages to get away, but it's only later when he realizes someone's hitched a ride in his mind, and with no physical body to return to, he's going to stay in Sylar's head to try and rein him in. This would be tricky, as I wouldn't want this to be Gordon just taking over Sylar's body and using it for good. That really wouldn't be a heel-face turn. I'd want Gordon to be the passenger who only occasionally grabs the steering wheel, but he's able to exert just enough influence over an extended period of time that eventually Sylar would be making better choices on his own without Gordon forcing his hand. Again, this would be tricky because Sylar was pretty wicked in Season 1, and even with every opportunity this series took to try and turn turn him into a good guy, it's hard for me to imagine that happening. Over time, Gordon will begin to have access to Sylar's memories, specifically of his mom. Mommy was very nearly the key to ending Sylar's serial killery when he temporarily had second thoughts about his destiny of becoming the man who had destroyed New York City. If she had reacted a little differently, maybe Sylar wouldn't have jumped back into his old habits. Gordon seizes on that, tries to remind Sylar of the good man he once was, the one who wanted to make his mom proud before she shut down his attempts to be the good son he wanted to be. Any idea can work, you just have to put in the time and effort to make it work. Slapping it together and trying to get to your end goal as fast as possible is what will get people upset and call you a lazy hack. Take your time, make us doubt that Sylar is actually going to change. Instead of Sylar spending a season trying to return his lost power, he spends a season looking for a telepath to remove Gordon from his brain, but for some reason, he's not able to do it. But that would be long enough to stall this slow burn to the light side. I still don't know if this would work, but it's gotta be better than all the half-hearted attempts the series made at turning Sylar into one of the good guys. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the future with some other videos. Until next time, have a good one.